outside studio here, and we prepped some Gaslands cars yesterday. Let me move these cords out of the way. We're going to be using several different things this morning so that we can do the rest of this inside. There's things that need to happen out here that are just too messy and or loud. We want to keep that out here. All right, so we got 3 vehicles that we built, we designed, we assembled the pieces to, and they now need to do prep that we're doing out here. This one is right out of the box. This is a vehicle by Maisto called Lead Slinger, and this is exactly how it comes. It is literally a purple 1930s type of hot rod with an exposed engine. It's got a couple of chain guns on it, and that's literally what this has. That's it. So this thing is ready to go. Pretty much you look at it and it's like, oh, this is a perfect Gaslands vehicle. This is probably going to be like, if somebody says, hey, what's a good Gaslands vehicle for your first time? I'm going to suggest them get this. Because, I mean, you could use it as is. It's got a couple chain guns. If you're interested in what you see is what you get, which I am. Let me close that. So this thing's pretty much ready to go. Like I said, Maisto, Lead Slinger. I've seen it at anywhere Maisto's available. I think I've only seen it at Walmart. So, then this one is, I think this is a couple years old, 2022. It is a Ford Thunderbird, 1988 Thunderbird. And we're going to take this one apart. And the reason we're going to take this one apart is it has a chrome interior. That's just not going to fly, right? So we need to remove the chrome interior out so we can paint it. And the rest of it, we're going to leave it in the color that it is. It's kind of bold and stuff. We also have this recoilless rifle looking, it's going to be a bazooka in the game. It's a bazooka weapons type, and we just made it out of a piece of tubing and another little piece of scrap that came from the first weapon set that I got like 7 or 8 years ago from a company called Autokill. Autokill makes their own game. I think it's a bit more complicated, but they've got several parts. At the time when I got this, 3D printing really wasn't a thing. Hey, what's up, Hunter? Hunter Gamer Corba, welcome. So this is just going to get it mounted on the top. I'm going to eventually attach this because this is not a turreted weapon, but and this little add-on that's on there is just almost like a little laser sight type thing. So bazooka weapon is actually 3d6, and what's cool about it is that if any hits you get, it has blast. So it also, what's up, Wolfman? Out for a walk. Any hits you get on it count as a blast, which means you're going to get a hazard from it. By the way, did you get my message about the name of that German vehicle? Remember, like several months ago, I took that Volkswagen bus apart, and you said, yeah, this would be a really good name for it, and it was like 27 letters long, and it just meant corn nugget or something. I don't know what it was, but you're just painting up these ships. Quick question. Well, 2. Decks would be tan. What ships are you painting? Like nationalities. I'll have to look through my old comments, find the name. Yeah, I figured it would be. I thought you came up with a pretty good idea, so, Anyway, she's coming up. So we built these cars. You're probably asleep, as my mom would say, en el quinto sueño, on your 5th dream. Literally, that's what it means. So we built these 3 cars. They're built. They're designed. They have stuff on them. We just need to prep them. And this is Hillbilly Hacksaw. It's going to be a redneck vehicle. The Russian and Japanese for the Russian Civil War. I personally would make the deck colors different to the Japanese and the Russians. I still tan, but I would make a different color wood for each. And I would probably make the Russian one, since they're going to be farther away from home, maybe more worn out looking, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to be like tremendously different, but I would. You know, it might be a difference between, say, something like this. Wow, the glare is brutal here. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but that's what I would do. Just to make it different, to try to keep them from looking all like the same thing. So we got 3 vehicles here. The Thunderbird, which is literally right out of the box. And this thing that I got from the junk pile, this had a significant amount of conversion. This is originally a 1977, some kind of a Chevy pickup, whatever the heck they were back then. It honestly looks like an S10 pickup, which is a small pickup that's just large. Now, these are all supposed to be 64th scale, but they vary a little bit. I don't think this is a Silverado because there's no space behind the cab. It's literally like, you know, you slam on the brakes, you're going to hit that windshield in the back kind of thing. So this is Hillbilly Hacksaw. This is Skid Mark Sally. And this one is Dirty Cooter. So it's going to be very dirty. Like, it's going to have mud and shit all over it. Well, not all over it, but on the front. Like, it's, you know, like I took a mud bath and it ain't been washed yet. So that's what the whole point is. This has a couple chain guns, 2 chain machine guns. That's pretty much it. This one has some skill power slide, I believe, and it has the bazooka on the top. And this one is, and they're all 27-point vehicles, by the way. And this one has rockets. This is not a turreted weapon. This is just to get the rockets to fire over the cab. We added some little lights here, and a heavy machine gun that's attached to it as well. So, and we added some armor plate. The kicker with this thing is I can't take this one apart, or I'm not going to take it apart. And the reason why is because the top of it is metal and the bottom of it is metal, which means the grommets, or the whatever the hell they're called. I haven't had enough coffee. I can't think of what it is. The rivets that's riveted through is metal. And I just don't want to go through the trouble of doing that. And the interior of this vehicle, there's not much. There's just a bench seat, not even a steering column or console or anything, is all in this dark blue color. And that just doesn't go with the, it's like a pearl white, and it looks like this Cyndi Lauper type Blue Man Group, like the Blue Man Group with the drums, like Splash, whatever. I wouldn't consider it to be blood because it doesn't go all the way to the end, right? It's just kind of like this design that's on there. I'm going to keep that on there. That means it's going to be a girl vehicle, a redneck girl. She can arm wrestle you. And I wanted to cover up the cab, so but we're going to hand paint the blue that's in here and work it up. So what are the steps that we need to do? This thing is good to go. So it needs to be primered in black, the whole thing, okay? So that's going to be primered in black, so it could be, you know, we're just going to do a black primer. This one, we need to take it apart. We're going to clear coat everything that's the body in the flat clear, but the inside is going to be black. So we're going to have to use black for that, but we need to tear it apart before we fire up the black. This one is just going to be clear coat. Okay, so the order that we need to do things in, we need to take this thing apart, then we need to prime this stuff, and then we'll clear coat this. And then we'll have this enough to where we can bring it inside and do the rest of the process, okay? All right, let's see. Second question is auxiliary ship colors. As I will use them for both sides as scenarios dictate, I will do them civilian colors, but can't find what color civilian ships used from back then. Help! Help! Help me! Take my hand! I'm not going to be able to do it on the fly, but I'll try and look into some today. So here's my Dremel tool that I can't bring inside because, first of all, it's super heavy. Okay, this is very, very heavy. And I wish I could have it. It's really meant to be mounted on a hook. And I do have some shelves here I could mount it on, but they're kind of, let's say they're overtaxed. I don't want to put this lateral pressure on it. So I just put this hook on this workbench that came with the house. It's heavy duty, like, you know, we could dance on top of this if we felt like it. Well, we'd have to get some things out of the way. But we just hook it on here. And this is the only gripe I have about it. Well, there's two things. Yow. There's two things. This is just brass. You have to unscrew this. You have to unbolt this with this tool, which is to be expected. However, you can't hand tighten it at all. So in other words, normally what you do, okay, I'm going to change the bit. So let's loosen this up. And we're going to use the drill to drill it to pop that thing off. So we're going to unscrew it, pull this off, right? And normally what you would do is you would you'd put this thing down and see how it's significantly smaller. So let's tighten it. There's no way to tighten it by hand. So you literally have to tighten it. Just a little awkward. And the other gripe, which I didn't know about until yesterday, was that this is a left-handed tool. Or maybe where I have it mounted is left-handed. I don't know. The problem being that when I was cutting this, it's spinning towards me and I'm getting sprayed with little pieces. So it's not a big deal because it's not a lot of stuff on it, but this is the bit we use to cut the brass, by the way. Overkill. It's not one of those little hardened discs. It's not one of these hardened discs that sometimes can shatter on you. If this thing shatters on you, you got problems. You know, so I got this to actually cut like thick metal, so it can certainly handle brass. So that's what we made this mount on this pickup truck with. That electric scooter fast. Oh, this? Shit, the daughter hasn't used it in probably 5 years. You know, people get a car and they don't want to drive the scooter. It probably goes running speed, maybe 15 miles an hour, something like that. Yeah, it's okay. All right. And of course, the kicker with this thing is that you could use it like a pen, but the real thing is it has a pedal on it, which means even the slowest Dremel is way too fast for the stuff we need it for. Like I'm going to drill into plastic. We don't really need speed. So we got a pedal down here and we can literally, you know, we can go. So you can go with this speed. There's no Dremel that'll do that slow. And that's what we need. Even a little battery powered one is a lot faster. So we're going to take this little bazooka off. And normally what I would like to do, die-cast cars normally come with a top that is metal. And well, it depends on the age. They used to be metal and metal. The bottom that's metal and the top that's metal, like this particular pickup truck. Most of the modern ones have a metal top and a plastic bottom. What I really like is the ones that they usually come in cheap packs. Like they get like multi-packs of like 6 of them of Hot Wheels. I don't know if Matchbox does it, but Hot Wheels definitely does it. And you get the plastic top and the metal bottom. And I like those because it means that the rivet is made of plastic. So I just drill through the rivet and you're done. Now you can drill through a metal rivet. It's just way too much freaking work, right? So what I do is I just take a drill bit and I go around this and then pop it off, okay? And we're not doing any high speed. We're not showering the whole area with metal bits, you know? You like Hondas? Where's the Subi at? Yeah, here's my garage. Yeah, here's my WRX. Yeah, Hondas are too expensive. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just too fucking expensive. I've never been able to afford one. I wanted a Prelude for the longest time, and they don't make them anymore. Well, they're coming out now, but they're all, you know, they don't have a third pedal. I wanted a 240 SX for my first car and couldn't afford it. You know, I was poor. Even with my first job, even actually at my current job, I already worked at where I work now, but you know, I was younger. We're just gonna go around this little guy, and if there's any metal bits or filings, it's because we're rubbing up against this little grommet, and that's it. That's all it took, and now we can pop this thing off, right? I personally love Japanese cars. Rice burners, I affectionately call them. That's racist. No, it's not. Not if you like them. All right, and then we're going to do the front of this one. But I'll be honest with you, for this game, I think muscle cars look the best. That doesn't mean I don't have Japanese car. Hell, I got British cars. I got Mini Coopers. They all work. But for my personal vehicle, I don't like domestic vehicles. I wish I did, but I don't. Getting an Acura Integra, what year? Yeah, I always thought those were good-looking cars. The only thing I don't like about my car is it's not two-door. But I didn't get to fucking design it. They didn't ask me. I like coupes or coupes. They look faster. That car needs to look faster than it is. That little bastard is quick. I call it a Corolla on crack. It's not modified at all. It doesn't need to be modified at all. That's how you burn out a fucking engine. Like, it's already 5 seconds to 60 miles an hour. How much faster do you need than that? You know, like... You gotta take care of it, though. They don't make very many stick shift cars anymore, and cars just aren't affordable. That thing went up from, like, being under $30,000 car to now being like a $40,000 car, thanks to, the big C and all the bullshit that goes on with that. Tariffs don't help, but it was the big C more than anything else. Okay, let's go and pop this little guy out. All right, and we have this chrome interior, and this we're going to paint it black. 1994 Integra. Yeah, a lot of these hot cars, though, people are really bad. People are really bad about taking care of vehicles. You got to change the oil, man. You got to, it's an investment. You can't just throw that kind of money away. That's the problem with wearing a synthetic shirt. Stuff sticks to it. All right. So this is going to be primered black. This whole thing is going to be primered black. We're going to go ahead and prime this bazooka. This thing is going to get clear coated. I'm probably going to primer the bottom of the body of this as well. Okay, this is going to be clear coated. I'm separating this up so that when I change colors, I'm not like, fuck, I got to change back. I missed something. Right? Like not being incompetent. We'll hand paint this stuff with the primer, but we're going to give this thing the clear coat. So this is clear coat land. This is black primer land. I would love to do the clear coat first, and I think I am going to do the clear coat first because I don't want to clean Airbrush twice. I don't mind cleaning it at the end, but I don't want to clean it at the end and in the middle of it. That's just, I value my time. So the primer is a lot more goopy and likely to cause a jam than the clear coat. So we'll do the clear coat first. All right. We've got our Iwata HPCS airbrush. And you don't need an airbrush. I only use an airbrush now because to get away from rattle cans. Rattle cans are like fucking toxic. 1994 Integra. I'll have to look that up. 94. Yeah, I don't know what they look like. Those are the good looking ones with little round headlights. Right? The 4 headlights that are separated. I dated this one girl for a little bit of time, and she was like, that. I wrecked the car. My daddy bought me another one, and like back when I was like poor, and she had a 97 probably, and it's a nice looking car. Automatic, of course, but. Still see a couple of those running around. I wish I had a lift so I could, like, do my own oil changes and shit like that. Like, I've done a fair amount of things through YouTube. Like, I'm not a car mechanic person, but I can follow instructions. Or you can look at the video and go like, that's too complicated for me. Or I can handle that. It's empowering. All right, let's make sure that this is working well. Circle headlight. I like circle headlights. I like circle taillights too. That's one of the things that makes something like the Skyline so attractive, is that it has the circle headlights. But I love the way that I used to go to the car meet, and then I stopped going because there's some decent people there, and then there's people that, are just dicks, right? Just like with everything else. And I don't want to deal with dicks in my free time, right? I never checked that. I would never checked it. I want to make sure this thing is spraying. That's how you find out if it's clear enough. Is you want to make sure that when you press down and not pull back, that liquid's not coming out, right? We're good. And as you pull back, liquid is coming out. All right. But I used to go to this car meet, and there's a guy that had there's a couple guys that came in with like a 240. That was like, a 97 or a 98 or whatever. And it was, my wife says, that's an old looking car. I said, I think it looks great as hell. It's slower than my car, and I don't really like rear wheel. I'm not a drifting fan, but very attractive lines on it. Okay. You're changing the facelift to Japanese version. It's long rectal. I don't know that there's an Integra. The most, and the thing about Integra is the thing about Acura is I read this one time. They changed the whole nomenclature of all the Acura vehicles to do away with the name, right? Because Acura came out, when it came out Acura came out in like the late 80s, early 90s. And they had the Vigor and the Legend. I think the Legend was a great looking vehicle. Couldn't afford that kind of thing, but the Legend was a great looking vehicle when it came out. And they did away with all that nomenclature. Now it's an IXL and all these numbers that, letters or whatever. And the reason I read was people were, the Acura name was being watered down by these brands. Like people say, oh, it's an Integra, and not like, supposedly they did a survey, or they studied it and realized that the actual putting names on the cars was diluting, that's the word I was looking for, diluting the Acura name. Well, I like the names of freaking vehicles, not freaking numbers, if you're going to give me a choice. But do I have one of these little clips back here? I probably don't. Oh my God, here's my 1/6000 scale stuff. Yeah, here's my modern ships. There's some of them, the unbuilt ones. These are what, for Taiwan? Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. They got Japanese and Chinese and Taiwanese. And then these are what? These are from Shapeways. These are, I don't know who makes those, but they turned out okay. What's down here? Yeah, this is what I mount them on. I mount my 1/6000s on popsicle sticks. I don't even know what the hell this is. It's probably Taiwanese. That's what I was playing. I just ran out of, I haven't played the rules yet. You don't go to car meets because of cops. Why? What do cops do? I meant car meet like you meet on like Saturday morning, and like everybody has their car parked. Like people aren't driving around. Like I like to drive spirited, but I drive the speed limit and stuff like that. I don't do crazy shit. I get up to 60 as fast as I can, assuming it's a 60-mile-an-hour speed zone. It's one of a lot of funs you can have. That's one of the few things you can have that's fun. But my brother has an Acura. He has a big SUV. I don't know. He likes SUVs. I fucking don't. I don't like anything that remotely resembles a station wagon. And an SUV doesn't resemble a station wagon, but you know, it's not something I would want to have. And I'm going to go out of my way to buy. And he said he had to ditch it. He had like some service coming up, like a 60,000 service. And because it's an Acura, they wanted to charge a premium price. Instead of like maybe $1,000, it was like $4,000 to do this service. And he's like, fuck it, I'll just roll in and get another one. So, you know, but I don't have any of those premiums. We got a couple of Subarus now. I did Toyotas for a while. I did leases on Toyotas, and then, you know, the big C happened, and they no longer had any inventory. And I'm like, well, I don't want to drive another Camry. Like, Camry looked good. It was just underpowered. You know, like it's like dumb. The engine's dumbed down. So, the fact that the Camry looks faster than this little thing, but it isn't. So I got this little guy, and then my wife has the bigger version of this, the Legacy. As I like to say, we have the two non-lesbian versions of the Subaru. If you know, you know. That needed to be clear coated. This guy needs to be clear coated as well. Yeah, I don't have a problem with cops unless they're crooked, which I haven't any. I'm sure they're out there. I haven't had any interactions with crooked cops. And if they're like nosy, you know, my problem with cops involve like, you know, like I'll bring my lunch to work, and then I'll go under a shade tree somewhere and park and eat it, and you know, out of the way, right? I don't want to be on anybody's property, you know. I'm not doing anything nefarious. And the cop will be like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, mind your own fucking business, dude. Like, it's a small town with cops, you know, short cops, small town. That's my only issue with cops. I don't have a history of, you know, cop issues, but, you know, don't get in my shit, man. You know? And it's happened a couple times. And it fucking pisses me off, because it's like, all right, let's look at each other's record, and see who should be questioning who. But obviously, you know, I don't say that. I'm not rude to them or anything, but short little dicks, man, getting in your stuff. That's my only issue with cops. You know, the polyester pirates, as I call them. I don't like being questioned. I'm never up to no good, so leave me the fuck alone, you know. Okay, so this just has a clear coat, really the clear coat for the body. Because the rest of this stuff is going to be, you know, primed and black. But we needed to do that anyways. Because when I go inside, I can just keep going with it. Okay, this is going to be all black. 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 And the only reason I'm doing a clear coat is this is going to allow the brown wash to adhere to it. Because if you look at a clear coat, you actually added like a really fine sandpaper finish to it. Is the best way to describe it. If I'm going to leave the windows on this, I am going to go ahead and frost them. So I'm going to go ahead and clear coat this. And is this one of these weird ones that has the headlamps that are, yeah, it's got the headlamps in here also in the clear coat. I wish they didn't do that. Now, the coolest thing about Hot Wheels, and when I mean Hot Wheels, I mean Mastos, I mean Matchbox, any of those, is that most of these cars have excellent details. They're just not painted on them. Like, look at the front of this Chevy pickup truck. It's got headlamps and a grill and all kinds of stuff, and we're going to make all that stuff shine and pop. And it's awesome looking. You just don't notice it because it's not, you know, it doesn't jump out at you. Just like this pizza shit. This is a crunchy little thingamabob. You know, we're going to... This may not look as good as it is because it's going to look very rustic. So, at least that's the idea on it. Okay, are we done with the clear coat? Yes, and it looks like we ran out exactly at the right time. Yep, we're out. Let's give this a quick clean, and we're going to switch to black. Now, I have 3 black primers here. I have Vallejo primer, which is the easiest one to do and the most inexpensive, and supposedly the least durable. Stynylriz, which is the Badger one, which I don't like the smell of it at all. It doesn't smell hard. You know, I'm using acrylic stuff. Nothing should have a smell, and it does. And then the ammo one shot, which, you know, is my favorite, I think, but it's also the most expensive. So we're going to use a Stinel Riz, or however the hell you pronounce it. I was looking to see if I had alligator clips in here. I'm going to go inside and grab 3 alligator clips. I'll be right back. I'm not even going to pause the phone. So, you know, I don't hate cops. I just hate that they get in my shit when I have no shit to get in. Let's see what we have out here that's not alcoholic. We don't need that. Oh, do we have a Guinness? Oh my God, we have a Guinness. I don't have to buy Guinness for St. Patty's Day. Yeah, we're going to do a St. Patty's Day painting day. We always do it. Thank you. All right. And you just, what's attached to that? Let's go ahead and disconnect that. We don't want that thing going off. It's not anywhere that it's going to rub up against me. All right. Yeah, I don't like people that don't mind their own fucking business. That's all. And this little town that I live in, it's by the interstate. And you know, there's no crime here, and they've got cops, and they're always like hiding and stuff. That's fine, but I don't have a problem with that as much as the freaking highway patrol and the sheriff also ambush people in the town. It's like, dude, get on the fucking interstate, man. There's people that are doing crazy shit. Go fuck with them. Yeah, when car meets, that's what I meant. I didn't mean like, you know, Fast and Furious are going to have an illegal race through downtown. Yeah, not that. I'm talking about, you know, going off and talking cars. But I stopped going because 25% of the people were worth talking to. Everybody else was just a lot of people. You know, a lot of people have stuff, and it's kind of like maybe I guess it's a human thing. I don't think it's a car thing. You know, when people like only want to talk about their shit, and it's not, you know, it's not any back and forth. It's like, you know, you have any friends that are like asking about something and they never ask about you. All they're doing is just rattling off. Well, I'm doing that, but you guys aren't allowed to talk due to the format. Okay. All right. So we're going to use the secret to that is this stuff right here, which is Mr. Abbas's magic formula. I guess I need to remember what it is so I can just rattle off what it is. But if you look him up, he makes this at 70%, 30%, and 10%. I know that's 110%, but that's what he calls it. And I want to say it's 70% Vallejo flow improver, 30% thinner, and then it's 10% of the of Flow Aid. And it works really well. It's basically for to keep tip dry from happening. So sorry, Tony, my friend called for moral support after a toddler potty training disaster. Your friend called for moral support after a toddler potty training disaster. Is it their own kid? You know, if it's your own, you don't have kids. But if it's your own kid, it isn't a big deal. If it's somebody else's kid, fuck that. I'm not dealing with other people's potty disasters, right? Like, I don't hate kids, but, you know, I like my kid because, like, I know the stuff that she doesn't do because, like, you know, I didn't have I know kids that would be like, you know, like toddler age, right? And it'd be like, don't touch that. Oh, you mean this thing that I'm not supposed to touch? And they keep touching it. My daughter wasn't that way. You know, my daughter wasn't. My daughter would interrupt a lot when we were like, wife and I were talking. She'd come in and interrupt. Or I mean, I think that's probably her worst thing. It doesn't say anything to you until you're on the phone, and then she wants to have a whole conversation. But other than that, she's perfect. And I don't have one of these kids that's like, I'm not gonna eat that. All I eat is macaroni and cheese and grilled cheese. What's the British equivalent of oh, her. Oh, you're talking to a her. Ooh. Anyhow, her with a kid. Tell her, ask the fucking baby daddy. What's the British equivalent of macaroni and cheese and cheese pizza? These kids that don't eat anything other than like cheese and bread bullshit. Which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like you can't just like eat that. That's just poor parenting, or maybe the parents are just like really bad about food too. All right, so this is thinned down quite a bit. I wish I could run that straight, but it's going to just be a jam session. Beans on toast. Oh, fuck that shit. You should have let the Germans win. If the Germans would have won, I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's definitely not a good thing. But if the Germans would have won, okay, here we go. If the Germans would have won the First World War, okay, let's go with that one because there's no concentration camps in the First World War. If the Germans would have won the First World War and taken over Britain, you guys wouldn't be eating beans and toast. You'd be eating something better. You may not want to know what the sausage is made, but you got nasty sausages in Britain too. I think we've got nasty sausages everywhere. We really don't want to know where any of those things are made. Okay. Let's go with the bottom of the body here. Beans and toast. I don't have a problem with beans. It's those British beans. What are those Heinz beans that you guys have? No bueno. No bueno. That's what it is. And tomato sauce. It's like, is that your version of Italian food? Tomato sauce on beans. Like, no. Like, for instance, I've never had Chef Boyardee growing up. Ever. I had immigrant parents, and that just wasn't something that they ate. So a couple of hurricanes ago, several years ago, the wife decided to buy some Chef Boyardee just in case we lost power. You could eat it or whatever reason it was. So the hurricane didn't come, so we had these, and we decided to open them up one time. I'd rather eat beans and toast. I've never had beans and toast. I'd rather have beans and toast than Chef Boyardee. That is fucking ketchup. That's horrible. So it's not one of these, oh, you don't like it because it's from Britain. I'm not that guy. There's garbage everywhere. Although I was a little bit disappointed with how good, I was expecting lemon curd to be better. Maybe it's probably a good thing it's not better. Okay, so this is the bottom of the Thunderbird. And now we're just going to go all in on the interior of this. Now, I'm not necessarily worried about, oh, well, you need to wash these parts or anything or something. Oh, geez, that's the problem with Airbrush. Like nothing comes out. Move it another half of a millimeter, and then too much comes out. No big deal. This is self-leveling. I don't worry about the durability on this stuff if it's on something that is not, you can't handle it. Did you slather it on toast? No, it was, we went to some tea party thing, and it was one of the things on it. There's these little, I'm going to call them butter cookies, that when my daughter went to Scotland, she said I would really like, because they have these cookies. I don't ever buy this stuff, because it's like, I don't care how big the package is, it's one serving for me. Like, I'm addicted to eating. I'm sorry. If something's delicious, I can't stop myself. You know, hey, it's better than fucking cocaine. Um, I'd probably get more stuff done with cocaine, but anyhow, I wouldn't know. But there's these butter cookies that are like the equivalent of like the chessmen here that they have in the United States, and the chessmen are fucking awesome. And she said they were really good, and she brought me some from Scotland, and they were pretty good. They're probably less sweet than the chessmen because here in the America we put corn and corn syrup and sugar and everything, so that we want to eat the whole fucking package, right? That's what they do here. Sinister fuckers. And that plays right into some of us, like, okay, I will eat the whole package. Because you need to have a good dollop of lemon cheese on some decent quality toast. No, it was okay. It was just a little, I was expecting it to be better. I had like really high hopes because everything about that has got me written on it. It's a fruit thing. I like fruit things. If it was chocolate, if it was like chocolate curd instead of lemon curd, not interested. I don't give a shit about chocolate things. Unless I go and buy some of that Swiss chocolate at Aldi's. The one that has the pretzel pieces in it. Yeah, I can't have that. I can't have that. Because I literally would say, do you like chocolate? I would probably say, really, I kind of don't. As a general rule, I don't really like chocolate. It's too bitter. And yeah, it can be too sweet, but sometimes it could be just in between. But I can't go and buy that. Whatever brand it is. It comes from Europe. I mean, that's where all the good chocolate comes from. Somebody was telling me, oh, the Mexican chocolate's good. Mexican chocolate's fucking trash. Like, I ain't eating that stuff. Okay? Hershey's is fucking trash, right? And my dad always liked chocolate. So when we'd go to the grocery store, because there was a time when my mom passed away. I'd go to the grocery store with my dad when I was really little, and he couldn't go to the grocery store without buying like a brick, of chocolate. And early on, he liked normal stuff, and then eventually he got into like that whole special dark. And I'm not interested in dark chocolate. I would rather eat dirt, so to speak. Okay, now let's get busy, y'all, with this one right here. How can we attach? Is this? No, it's not. Okay. How about here? That should be good enough. We want to get the undercarriage. How much we got in here? I think we have the right amount. Oh, are you going to act out now? We have this on the 0.5 needle. Did you end up getting an airbrush? Did I end up talking you into getting this airbrush? Are you happy with it? I wasn't until I kept messing with it, and I kept messing with it because of this. Because not having this made everything a pain in the ass that it shouldn't have been. All right, we're going to need more. So let's see if we don't overdo it. We're going to put a little bit of this. Maybe 25% that. And Steno res. And then what we'll do is we'll move this popsicle stand inside. I guess I'll keep doing it on the phone, even though the phone has bad resolution. It's dumbed down at 720. I guess eventually they'll probably do away with that when everything's in 16K. Phone will probably be 10. Oh, okay, we'll give you 1080p then. I'm getting another compressor when that one dies. Like one that's quieter. But I literally bought like the cheapest compressor that had a tank on Amazon. And it came with a free airbrush, which I tried to use once after I was kind of proficient with this. It is a piece of trash. You know, if there's somebody in your life you absolutely hate, go give them a cheap airbrush. Have them suffer with it. You know, a $20, you know, and it's always has some fancy name, like a master's airbrush. There ain't no masters about it. That's a piece of shit. Yeah, I got it in late 2024. It'll be coming out again in the next few weeks or so when the weather's a little nicer and my conservatory isn't as cold. Conservatory? Well, harumph to you. Conservatory. What kind of plants you got? Don't tell me. You ain't got none of them funny plants, do you? Them funny roll-up plants. Blow-up dolls and roll-up plants. Oh, man. What color should I make this fucker? I'm gonna dry brush it. It's got, thank you. It's got some metal plates on it, but the main body of it, I'd like to make it a light enough color that the rustification shows up on it. At least on the back end. I should probably figure that out and airbrush that, because dry brushing a light color on black, it just takes a while. It works, but it just takes a while. Yeah, maybe a gray. I mean, it sounds boring, but, you know, a gray will probably turn out all right. What's it called? Hillbilly hacksaw? Yeah, that just smells like brown. Brown could be hillbilly hacksaw. I don't know what color. I don't know what color. I don't know what color to do it. Not red. I've been doing too many fucking red colors lately. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should probably airbrush that. It would make sense. Get a decent cover on it. Although the dry brushing system I was using works, it just takes a little longer. Brown would be good. With orangish rust would be retro. Okay, so, well, you know, I don't really rustify it. You know, I add drippings and stuff like that, but it needs to be runnable. I like to say, hey, this is what it looked like in its first race, before it got beat to hell. All right, brown? All right, I'm going to go get a brown and we'll paint it. You're not going to let the primer set? Fuck no. Ain't nobody got time for that. Supposed to let it set 24 hours. Yeah, I live life on the edge. People that probably do that, I wait 24 hours, probably don't use a seatbelt in their car. Hey, I get to decide what kind of risks I'm going to take. Being antsy with the paint process is my big risk. I don't gamble or nothing. I don't even gamble playing. I don't even like taking risks when I'm playing a war game. All right, we'll get a brown out here. I guess it. You know, I bragged about this brush so much, and then it fell apart. This is the brush that came with the Iwata thing, which is awesome. And it's awesome because how many times have I cleaned the cup out? 50? And look at the bristles. They're still all together. You don't see brown and orange used much. It looked like it was everywhere in the 70s. Okay. Okay, cool. We're going to do that next while I'm out here. It needs to be light enough that you can add a brown wash to it and you can see it. And it also needs to be light enough that when you add drippings, yeah, I just need to drop a little bit of epoxy on this and tighten this back up, because this thing does a really good job of scraping everything out, getting everything out. Yeah, every time I use the airbrush, it's just an opportunity to get a little bit better at it. My biggest gripe with this airbrush, and it's probably the case with every airbrush, is this throw. Okay, this moves. How far are we going to call that moving? A couple centimeters, right? The reality is you can only move it like that much, and I mean, yeah, I mean, think about it. It basically releases the pressure in here. So when you go at 180 degrees, it's letting like basically all the air out that's trapped in here. I think you can't use 3/4 of the travel. That's the problem. It's just like all you can do is move like a millimeter. So it's real easy, even though I've got pretty good tactical response. I can't help it, having painted this many years, but I wish you could adjust that so that you can use all the travel. I don't know if that's making any sense, but that's the only gripe. And that may be the case with every airbrush. You know, it's like all or nothing. Let's get this junk off here, and then we're going to go look at our browns. Hell, we'll even bring the camera inside. How about that? We'll go look at the browns together. All right, let's do that. And I need some tea anyways. All right, so what are we going to do here? Let's unplug this. Let's leave it on the mount. And we are going to, let's see how I do this. Okay, good. You guys should still have audio, but there's no video. That way you don't see all the hostages that I have in the house. Ain't nothing in here. All right. We'll go to the room and we will flip this thing over. All right. So here we are at the table. Here's the land of browns. Now we're not going to use the craft paint, which we can use, okay? But it is not very satisfying to paint with it. And we got lots of browns up here, but we also have lots of browns here. So ideally something like this, remember it's going to have metal plates on it. So something like this would probably be all right, but it's just going to be too close to a rust color, right? So I'm thinking, I don't know, you see something out here you like? Maybe this wouldn't be too bad. What color is this? Beige red. The beige red, nothing in and out of. Ain't no beige red there. How about this US field drab? Of course, that's one of the weathering colors. So that might not be a good choice. What's this guy down here? Camouflage ochre. That's like, it's going to look dunkelgelbish. Beige is your go-to for skin, huh? I never use it. Well, you know what I use. I make my own mix. Has it got a lot of red in it? I mean, the color tone's okay. I don't know. It's kind of pink. We don't want no pink hillbilly. Maybe a darker brown. Yeah, I guess probably so. You know, we're going to dry brush some of these lighter colors on it. What's this thing here? You think I should do beige red? It's not going to be too fucking red. I'll do it. It's on you though. If it looks like shit, that's your fault. If it looks great, it'll be your fault too. What about this color right next to it? This is cork brown. Cork brown's got less red in it. Cork brown might be good. Oh, it's good for flesh. Do I have a new cork brown? Let's see. Saddle brown. Saddle brown's dark. US Field Drab. These are basically extras that I have. Because, you know, there's paint in here, but this is old as crap, and I don't want to throw it away. The Fleshmobile. Yeah, no. Red leather. Yeah, this is one of the base colors I use for Flesh. I use black and mix this with it. Then I did this, and I mix Sunny Skin Tone with this, and then a little bit of white, and bam, done. At least, you know, for Caucasians. I didn't mean Caucasians. I mean white people. I don't come from the Caucasus. I'd have a drinking problem if I did. I think we're going to go with cork brown. Let's do cork brown. Now, this is going to be thick as shit. I can tell you already. All right. Let's flip this thing around. All right. I don't leave lights on if I'm not in the room. That's stupid. All right. And if I don't like it, guess what? We'll repaint it. And you know what? This thing doesn't have a whole lot of detail, so it's not like you're going to cover it up. It would take a long time to cover that. All right. Should have got myself some tea while I was at it. All right. This has the 0.5 needle in it. So let's go ahead and, yeah, and the longer I take, the more this will sit. So that'll be a good thing. Let's go ahead and remove this needle. This is not the one that came with the airbrush. We can remove that. That makes it a lot easier. You don't lose all the pressure and stuff. I'm going to take this, and every time we tear this thing apart and clean it, we get a little bit better at it. Let's pull it back a little bit, not all the way through, so that way we can rock this a little bit and not mess up the needle. And then we will push it forward and see what we got here. The only thing I don't like about this airbrush, if this thing pops out, it's a pain in the ass to put back in. It takes a lot longer than it should. Relatively clean. We're going to go ahead and leave this clean for next time. Take a little bit of hand sanitizer. And it literally will melt whatever paint is left on there. Okay, so that's clean. This is the new. Yeah, I didn't clean this properly. There's a little bit of black paint on this needle. Ow! This is more dangerous than an X-Acto knife. Well, here's the reality. I don't run my hand across an X-Acto knife. It just startled me. Stop it, you're hurting me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that doesn't want to come off. Actually, that's why we have the super readers. There we go. I didn't do a good job of cleaning this last time. Just real gently to give it a push. Yeah, I got this airbrush because the local hobby store carried all this stuff, and now they don't anymore. They got rid of all the Iwata stuff, and now they only carry Ching Chang Chung, whatever. Well, all right. So this is clean. All right, the nozzle, which is usually the trouble spot, we're going to put a little bit of that in there, and let's get, where's my pipe cleaner? My pipe cleaner, but we've gotten this bottom part dirty. So let's remove some of that. I think it works. Is put hand sanitizer on it, and literally will melt the paint. Can we see light through there? We can. Okay, and then we will test it with this. Gets that last little bit of junk out. Okay, these are clean. This usually does not need to be cleaned. I do like to clean the end. And unfortunately, we're getting some of this paint on us, but if you use gloves, any paint you have on the glove is going to get reactivated by that hand sanitizer. So, okay, that's completely clean. And let's check in here. And we'll do the same thing with this. I've gotten pretty good where it pretty much isn't an issue. You got to just find your way. You can find all the videos or whatever. You got to do it this way or you're doing it wrong. Do whatever the hell you want, but you don't want a jam session. The biggest difference is using that fluid or something like that. It just happens to work for all acrylic paint. I don't want to buy, the thinner for one paint, and you need the tip, the anti-tip dry more than thinning the paint. That's really where the issue happens. Okay. So let's reassemble this thing. Pull that back, put the nozzle on it. And the biggest mistake that I know I was making is, you can hand tighten this, but you're going to have an air leak. So you need to give it a crank. Because it's going to find, air is going to find the path of least resistance. Okay, don't over tighten it. Should be good to go. This is already still at pressure because we didn't dump the air in it. We're going to test it by, got to make more of this stuff. Oh, I fucked up. It needs to have this nozzle on it. It'll still work like this. It just won't work as well. Make sure this thing's clear. May not be. And that's the good about the hand sanitizer thing. I don't care how old the paint is. This thing will wake it the fuck up. All right, where'd I put the fucking needle? Because that's not the right needle. Because I put a little piece of tape on the other one. ¿Dónde carajo está? It's right here. All right, this is today's quiz. Where the hell did I put the needle? Oh, it's still in there. What a fucking dumbass. This is why I can't do drugs ever. Let's pull it out and make sure we have a good fit. Fucking dumbass. All right, let's put the super relief back on. Yep. No problem. Drop this thing back in it. Yeah, when you wear glasses, I immediately notice I get tunnel vision. And it's not because I can't see, because I can see enough around it, but it focuses your attention on like what's right here. And something can be just a little bit away. Okay. I just pulled this needle out. Why won't it want to go in? Okay. ¿Qué carajo está pasando? This is why I say you can't be in a... And that's also why you put it in from the back. All right, let me do something I don't want to do. Which is, I still don't want to do it. I don't want to pull that thing off. It's a pain in the ass. Wow. Okay. The fuck happened? All right, where is it stopping? In here. Let's hold this down. Yeah, that's why I said don't airbrush when you have a limited time. Well, something fell out of it. I bet it'll work now. I know, we're hungry. It's a little piece that fell out of the back. So it was gunk in there. I guess I've never given this an extremely good cleaning. Like taking all the parts off. I think I probably need to do that. I probably don't make a big mess now, but man, I made some in the learning process. For sure, for sure. This thing, this thing falls on the ground, it takes forever to find it because it rolls great. Okay, this is all clean. Let's make sure that we are blowing. Press down, no liquid, pull back, liquid. Run this all the way through. I should do a video of emptying this. So I've been using this jug for a couple years now. It still has liquid in it. It doesn't evaporate really well. Oh, it's stinky. I wonder what's growing in there. Might be a fun video. It's Fear Factor. You gotta drink it. No. No, I am going to get some tea though. I am parched and I'm running in my mouth. So I'm literally going to leave this running. I'll be right back in a jiffy, fill this thing full of tea. And I forgot to put the condom on. Always put this thing on the back. Because if things falls and it lands like this, you'll have the needle jammed into the nozzle and you have to buy both. How do I know that? It fucking happened. So, all right, be right back. Hillbilly hacksaw. Yeah, like a light blue would probably work okay, but I've got other light blue vehicles. So, we're going to use the Super Readers. Hoffman, what's up? How's it going, everyone? Are the cars closer to the camera? Is Tony doing a new scale? Yeah, they're closer. No, I'm not doing 28 millimeter. God, I'd never do 28 millimeter. Okay. So, cork brown. We need to set some time this weekend and kill some shit. I think it'll be today. You got some openings today in your schedule, Hoffman? Like maybe in a couple hours or something like that? Cork brown. Let's see if we nailed this. This is probably going to be thick as shit. Let's see. Yes. Okay. That's all right. I'd rather it be too thick than the other way. So we're going to thin this like 50-50. Let's get the clear coat away from where the primer is. I've done that one time. Yeah, I caught myself. It's not a big deal. It's just not satisfying being incompetent. So, yeah, I did do the right ones. I mean, that's awfully thick looking. About that much. Put that first. One thing I hated about adding thinner, absolutely hated, is like, you can't mix it in a cup. Well, then we're mixing it somewhere else. We're losing half of it. The cup is like flimsy and knocking it over. Like, just being able to mix it. I think they got too much in it. Okay. Oh yeah, this is all like spindly and shit. All right. And just mix it right here. But you got to start with the liquid first. You don't want to start with the paint first. Yeah, just message me. I shouldn't be doing anything until tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going out of town. I think. I probably shouldn't, but I want to have some fun. And even if I don't buy anything at the flea market, I want to at least go there. It's kind of a flesh color, but I think it'll work. All right, let's see how we did here. Now, let's get that out of the way, and that out of the way, and that out of the way. All right, so let's see if we can find a place where we can rest our wrists. Let's do this one. Actually, this will probably work better. Oh, what pressure we have? Way too high. So if you want to get the pressure right, press down on it so all air is coming out. And then you can adjust it down where you want it to be when the air is on. So we'll drop it to about 20. How did I figure that out? Trial and error. And I still have to adjust it sometimes. There's that liquid that we brought in originally. There we go, more paint starting to show up. All right, we're getting some thin lines. Don't worry, it won't last long. I'm sure it'll start misbehaving. It always does. We can lose this. All right, we're not going to do this on the tires if we don't need to, so. So we'll go around this armor plate if we can. That's a really good spray pattern. It's always that way where you're like, oh man, if I was doing like the camouflage in the German tanks, yeah, it always misbehaves on you when you don't want it to. People that do painting videos, I like to say, they're not man enough to show you the mistakes. I think that color's good. Now I don't know how it's turning out with all the light recoil. That's what I should call it. Recoil of light. You know, the kickback. Because, you know, I got a lot of light here. You guys are seeing it. Light colors like reflect a lot more. I think that's good. I think that's really good. You did all right. We'll keep you around. Hey, you can be a color fag too, like me. It's all about contrast. Looks like there's some reinforcing things on the back. We're going to leave those black. And, you know, they'll be metallic. The only thing I have to do today is I got to go to my mom's. We're going to do that in the evening. I mean, shit, they're not going to be up for like 3 hours. Man, those people get up way too late. I actually tried to go to bed at a decent time, and then I couldn't go to sleep. So I did really good. And then I'm like, well, I guess I got to drug myself, which of course means eat. So I ate more than I should have. And then I'm like, I'm still not sleepy. Well, let me finish watching Nuremberg. So I did that. And then I finally got to sleep like around 1. And it was all right. Russell Crowe did a better job in that role than I could have ever imagined. And the Egyptian guy didn't bug me too much. Rami, or however you say his name. All right, we're getting a little bit of pink splatter. Let me see if that means it's pressure's not high enough. So I'm just going to turn it up just a tad. Talking about colors, might do some drawing instead of messing with these shield transfer. I don't really know what I'm doing with them. Which shield transfers are they? Are they the Little Big Man Studio ones? If they are, I know exactly what you mean about not knowing what the hell you're doing. And that's not to say that they're a shitty product. They're actually a really good product. It is just, it's a mind fuck to use them. You know, there's some things that, you know, sometimes you buy a product that's supposed to solve a problem you don't have. Like, I don't have a problem hand painting shields, right? Break it down into basic spaces, you know, kind of sketch it, and then fill in as you sketch it. And it's super satisfying. I love doing shields. Especially something like an eagle or, you know, that's the Scottish lion. Scotch lion. I'm gonna go ahead and paint this hatch this color, even though we may come in and make it metallic. Scotch lion. It looks like a Scotch egg, but a lion. Is that Nuremberg, the one with Brandon Fraser guy playing Ike? No, it's the one that has Rami Malek plays a psychiatrist, and Russell Crowe plays Goering, and who else is in it? That weird looking dude. Is his name Michael Shannon? I looked him up, like, what else have I seen him in? He's just an odd looking guy. He's like, he's younger than I am. I'm like, well, he obviously doesn't play war games to keep himself young. Just saying. So now we got even more paint splatter. All right, see it? So let's tune this down. No, it's even worse. Okay, let's tune it up. Yeah, tuning it up should be better because then I can adjust it with this if I need to. All right. I am not a pro airbrusher and probably never will be, and I'm okay with that. That's what it is. It needed more air. And I'm going to leave some shadows on here, like I like the color. I mean, I think this color is it's like perfect. It's starting to look like Bondo, like brown Bondo, which is a great look. They are Bacchus transfers, but they look like Little Big Man. I've never done shield transfers, so I'm trying to find a decent tutorial. Well, the Little Big Man studios, normal shields is, you put it in water and you slide them off. But the Big Man ones are fucking back-asswards. You got to paint the shield white. Then you have to put the decal on, but you're putting it on backwards, so you actually can't see what you're doing. It's just, that's the problem with it, is you can't see what you're doing to correct it. Blind faith shield transfers. This looks like this should be made out of wood, but the edge of this wouldn't be. We'll paint the edge of that, and then we'll also do the frame of this roll cage, or the frame of this, whatever this frame is. Okay, we got part of the body down here. Well, I thinned it, I think, the right amount. It's not too thin, it's not too thick. Put that in the body color. And we'll skip over the engine. I think it's going to look fucking stellar. Oh shoot, I didn't paint my shield white. I think the problem that the shield, at least with the Little Big Man, you have to paint it white because you need that light source for the shield to sit on. It's like it's basically like a stained glass window. If you look at a stained glass window and it's dark out, you can't see anything. You need it to have the light source. And I'm not saying you should have known that. I wouldn't have known that either. But that's not the screwy part about them. The screwy part about the Little Big Man Studios is you place them on it, and then you can't see. So you've got a decal that's like this that you have to cut out. It doesn't come pre-cut out, so you have to cut it close. But then you put it on in reverse, and you can't see through it. So you're hoping that it's lined up okay, and then you rub it, and then you peel the top. It's just like you can't adjust it if you're not careful with it. It's fucked. And I did, I guess, about a dozen of them, and none of them were screwed up. So I guess I was worried about it enough that I took enough care, but it's not forgiving. It's totally not forgiving. And I don't like painting. I don't like doing any of this hobby that's not forgiving. This causes stress. I just wish this video wasn't in reverse, because I am certainly not left-handed. Let me do the frame of this. There we go. Let's get it going. The fact that it dries so quick, though, is a good thing. Now, let me put the other glasses and look at it. I think I'm going to paint. I think I'm going to paint these doors. Sometimes you just got to figure out what color you're going to make things. I think they're doors, like a two-part door. Again, I don't mind. This is taking a little bit of time. This is pretty satisfying. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see. Oh, the sun's coming. We got to get the fuck out of here. Are you a vampire? No, you got the sun in your face and you can't see shit. I like natural light. Okay. That looks pretty damn good. Now, how much paint do we have? Oh, we wasted 3/4 of it. Typical. All right. There's no point in running all this paint through the needle. So we're going to pour it. We're actually going to, let's add some of this. You mean you're going to make more of it? No, we're just going to thin it out so we can get it out. And we'll just stir this in with it. I think that color is spot on. And we will pour this out. And then we will take, I don't mind reusing these paper towels. Yeah, this is how you get paint on the outside. Pouring the shit out. Okay. Gonna get something to eat. I need to paint something to eat. I need to paint something to eat. I need to get something to eat too. I haven't had breakfast. So when I'm done with this, I'll probably stop and and regroup. And then we'll go back and we'll be on the computer. What I'm planning on doing then is, let's see, I'm probably going to go ahead and do the brown wash. And while the wash is drying, I'll go ahead and paint this stuff black. That's why I'm working on multiple vehicles, because I know it's going to be like, all right, well, I want to keep working on stuff, but I can't work on this one vehicle because something on it is drying. And I never understood the purpose of this, of the backwash, until I'm like, oh, okay, well, that loosens up some of the paint. I just never really had a use for it. And what's useless is this cap for this, because I can't even put it on it. I tried to put it on it the other day and it wouldn't even fit on there. It doesn't close all the way. I don't know whether I got a deformed one or... Now I'm going to be lazy and I'm not going to clean it more than that. Because if the next step I do is something like primer in black, I wasted my time doing a really good clean. Now I am going to turn this thing off so I don't leave it on for like a week. I did that one time. I left the pressure in it for a week and nothing happened. It just can't be good for it. All right, so we're going to stop. I'm going to have breakfast and then we'll be back working on these things on the computer. Be right back, folks. Thanks for stopping by.